The Niners need some infusion of positivity and hope. That would be great. And Christian McCaffrey, supposedly, allegedly coming back for the Buccaneers game. His return seems to be something that the 49ers are using as a source of, I don't know, hope. Like they think that's going to turn everything around, and it may. But we don't know what condition he'll be in, how long he'll be able to stay on the field, what kind of a workload he'll be able to handle. Another thing they could do is actually make a trade at the trade deadline. The Chiefs just did. They traded for Patriots edge rusher Josh Uche, who's pretty good. And now the best defense in the league, a defense that utterly shut down the Niners. Offense just got better. Should the Niners make a corresponding move? There's Za'Darius Smith. He seems like he's on the trade block. The Lions could go after him, or the Niners could. What do you think?
Trade deadline is what? The 8th of November? 5th. Is that right? What'd you say? The 5th.
The 5th. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, that's the thing right now. It's hard for me to figure out with these 49ers because, the next game is, I believe, the 10th for the 49ers. They have the bye week, and then they play on the 10th against the Buccaneers. So that's past the trade deadline. Unfortunately for me, man, it's like, is this team in a position to where they're going to go on a run and win a Super Bowl? And if they're not, why are we trading for anything? I feel like keep your assets and plan ahead for the future. It's hard for me to feel like this team right now is going to make a run to win the Super Bowl. If you look how good the Lions are playing right now, how good the Chiefs are playing, the players that they're bringing in there, they're only getting better. There's a lot of good teams out there that seem a lot stronger than the 49ers. Now, 49ers have started slow in the past and gone on runs, and we're contenders. So if the 49ers really believe that they're contenders, sure, go trade for whatever you think can help put you over the top. I just don't know if I feel that they are contenders, and I would hate to see them trade assets this year in a year where they're not really playing like contenders, and then you lose those assets for that draft capital for the following years where you may have had a better chance to make a run. So I don't know, man. Like maybe a defensive end will help, maybe a wide receiver will help and put them over the hump, and maybe when CMC comes back, that's the difference for the 49ers. It's just hard for me to call it right now.
The way I look at it is Leonard Floyd has been a big disappointment. I never noticed him on the field. Nick Bosa's good, but not great anymore, and is not taking over games. He'll make a play or two a game where you're like, oh yeah, he's still really good, but he's not dominant the way he used to be and should be. So adding a guy like Za'Darius Smith would make the Niners defense much better. But I agree with everything you said. And I think what's interesting about this particular team is before you just bring in some guy who's expensive and old and add a veteran to a team that's already the oldest team in the league or one of them, what about just playing Sam Okwuonu more?
He looks good.
He looks good, right? Like, yeah. He's another victim of roster politics because he's not making nearly as much as Leonard Floyd, but he's objectively better than Leonard Floyd this year. And sometimes it seems like he's making more impact on a down-by-down basis than Bosa.
I think this is, for me, like my gut feeling. I could be wrong, and I would love to be wrong. But I would love for the 49ers to come off this bye week, get CMC back, and just go on a run, win the Super Bowl. That would be my favorite outcome to this season. That's my ideal situation. But it's just like my gut right now tells me that this isn't the year. So let's play these younger guys, these undrafted, these guys, these smaller name guys, and see what we can develop them into and see what we have so we could prepare for next season. Now, we know the Niners aren't going to have that mentality where they're going to give up on the season, but just me watching it as, content creator, as a fan, it just doesn't feel like this is the year, and I would hate to see them invest a bunch of draft capital into all these different things.
It's a really interesting point. And I feel like you kind of have the feeling it's not their year. I think I do too. A lot of fans do. But the question is, what does the locker room feel? And I've been kind of looking at Bosa all year like, how much confidence do you have in this team? After they lost to the Rams, I believe, or the Cardinals, he came out and he's like, I still have confidence in this team, which is like, you're wondering if you still have confidence in this team. And
he wasn't asked that. He just came out with that.
He just came out and said it, which is like, oh, Freudian slip. Like you've been sitting there wondering, like, am I still confident in this team? Mm-hmm. And so when he comes out and has like the political statement, to me, like just amateur psychologist here, you're changing the conversation. You don't want to talk about football. Why? Because the statement you made on the football field tonight is that you can't close out a game and you're not that much better than Dallas and you can't play 60 minutes and you don't look like a Super Bowl contender. Like it's been 8 games and you still don't look like it. So, okay, let's talk about politics. That's more important. What do you say? This is an important time. Nah, man, it's football. That's what's most important for you. Not like giving Donald Trump the little push he needs to get over the finish line. Like, nah, man, you need to give the Niners the little push they need to get over the finish line. And you know what? This is how I felt about Kaepernick when he started doing what he was doing. It was like, Cap, would you have done this when you were 12-4? Would you have done this when you were going to the Super Bowl? Or is this something that you want to do to change the conversation because you're freaking 0-14? I don't know. But I think it's always convenient to change the conversation when you aren't good.
Yeah, man, I think so. I mean, just to get into it, I've been an independent my whole entire life since I was 18. And I used to be really into politics. I voted for both Republicans and Democrats. I really am independent. I think most people are centrists, and that's where I'm at. But about 6 years ago, I kind of realized that, the most important thing that I can have in my own life is just focus on providing for my family and my friends, my immediate network. And I think a lot of the young people buy into this politic stuff and think it's a big deal when it's really. I mean, these guys aren't going to change your life.
And national politics. The president isn't going to change your life that much.
Yeah, I mean, maybe your mayor. I mean, that's more important than president. So I just think it's young people acting young. Nick Bosa is still young, really, in comparison to an old dude like me. So I don't know. I just think it was stupid. I'm not a big fan of either one of these candidates, to be real. And I just wish that we were talking about football instead of Trump right now.
Yeah. I'm not really a big fan of either of these candidates either. It's funny. Like both of them try to be like, well, you're anti-democracy. You're anti-democracy. It's like one guy wants to be a king. The other one wasn't really elected. It's like, cool.
It's freaking nice, dude.
Let me pick.
I wrote my name in last election. I'll probably do it again.
You wrote your own name in? I'd vote for you.
Yeah. Hey, write me in. Maybe if I get enough, like 2 votes, that might.
I'm Team Ryan.